Hello everybody and welcome to another edition of Timwe Implements Souvenir. It is now exactly midnight where I live, and it is of course the hour wherever you live, and here we have the wheel. Welcome to everybody in the chat. Hello Baker's Dozen Bagels and anyone else who is watching. I'm going to wait just maybe one more minute for people to come trickling in, and of course if any of you have any suggestions of what other modules you might want me to implement in Souvenir, please let me know. Make suggestions in the chat. Hello Eltrick, welcome to the Souvenir stream. Alright, so when my clock in the taskbar rolls over to 1 minute after, I'm going to start spinning the wheel. Well, in the meantime, let's take a look at what we have. This is the Souvenir source code, and of course we have our long list of already implemented modules. And alright, so we now have 1 minute after, and I said that I would spin the wheel. Now there's one thing that I want to say before I do that. My plan here is that I'm going to start by implementing a module myself. The first one that comes up on the wheel. After that, we are going to look at Souvenir support that was added by other people. In particular, I believe that GhostSalt has added some Souvenir support, and there was one other contributor, which I wrote that down somewhere, but unfortunately I've forgotten, so I need to check that out. But let's begin. I'm going to spin the wheel. And we get, ding, rainbow arrows. That was almost going to land on kanji, but unfortunately for kanji, it rolled over to rainbow arrows, so let's go take a look at rainbow arrows, which is not a module that I am familiar with. So I'm quickly going to read the first page of the manual. This module has 8 arrow buttons in a rainbow color arrangement, and a display screen in the center showing a 2-digit number. So I guess the 2-digit number would be something that we can ask about. Let's actually see if anyone has written any. Oh, this is already included in Souvenir according to the... Aha, what was the displayed number? Exactly what I thought. So I guess we can straight up remove rainbow arrows from the wheel and spin it again. And the next one that it lands on is dumb waiters, which I'm not exactly familiar with. And there we go, that's already implemented. Which players were present? That is exactly the question that I would have asked. So we're going to remove dumb waiters as well from the list and spin the wheel one more time. And we're now landing on lion's share. Okay, let's see if lion's share is not in the list yet. Okay, now fortunately I am familiar with this module, lion's share. On it we have a pie chart with multiple names on it, and some of those names the diffuser removes from the pie chart. So what we are going to have Souvenir ask for is what names were on the module but removed, and we can also ask what the year was. If you look at this icon, you see there is a little number 8 in the corner. That is the current year. I can also look at this SVG. Here it's a 15. It's always going to be a number from 1 to 16. So that is the other thing that we can ask. I'm fairly confident that lion's share already removes the year number after solve. So let's get cracking. We're gonna start by looking at the. Whoops, I meant to go here. Lion's share. And then here in the Souvenir, we're going to add an entry in this long list. Alphabetically, that would come after link and before listening. So let's go lion's share. Now the string that I need here is the module type property in the prefab. So I'm going to look at the prefab, search for module type, and right here it says lion's share module. That is what it needs to say here. And then we have... where was it? I'm just quickly going to search for this. There we go. We have this long list of, this is actually a dictionary declaration which maps from these string constants, such as, for example, this one here, 1000 words, to a function which will process that module. So we're going to find where lion's share goes in the list. It goes right here. We can put that here, and then we can invent a variable, it's not a variable name, a method name. And then I'm going to jump straight to process listening and put our new one right above it so that it will be in alphabetical order. KMBOM module, here we go. Okay, now most of these, in fact not most of these, all of these start with this one line, var comp equals get component, and then this one here is the name of the class declaration, which here we can get by looking at the CS file, and it's called lion's share module. So that is the name that we need to use here. And then we need to obtain the information from fields that are declared in this class. Sometimes it's the public fields, most of the time it's the private fields. In particular, we need to know when the module is solved, because we need to wait for that. And then once that is the case, we can look at the list of lion names, and we can look at the year, which, okay. The current year is apparently not saved in a variable. Okay. I could, in theory, change the module to expose the year, but let's actually see where the year is decided. These are all birth years of all the, this is all the rule seed generating thing. There we go. This is where we generate the thing. Okay, so the year is decided here and it is saved in a local variable, but of course it is displayed in a text object on the module. So I think I'm just going to use that text object and get the year from there. And we can get this right at the start of the module because this is in start. So by the time that this handler starts running, that will already be available. So we can just get the year text object. So let's get a field of type text mesh. And the field that we're looking for is this one here, the one that actually has the text mesh in it. And it is on the comp type, it has the name year, and it is absolutely public. And we're just gonna go .get to get the actual text mesh from it. And you know what, we can immediately just go .text, and that will give us the text. And we expect this text to be a numerical value between 1 and 16, right? It needs to be one of the years in the manual. So it's gonna be 1 to 16. So we want the actual year to be an integer. So we're going to use int.tryParse to parse the year text into that year variable. And if that does not succeed, then we're going to abandon the module with an exception, obviously. If that is the case, or year is less than 1 or year is greater than 16, in other words, if it's out of range, then we're going to throw an exception saying expected year number between 1 and 16 got. Okay, now since it says message format, oh, I see, the format arguments are right here. Okay, so I guess I can actually do this, year text. Okay, let me just very quickly check whether that is in, yeah, it does call string.format on this, so that is what I want. Okay, so now we can be certain that the year number is correct. The next thing I want to do is yeah, no, that's not what I want. What I do want is I want to wait until the module is solved. So let's go back to this source code and get this field. So we're going to say the field that contains this solved information is a Boolean field on the comp type with this name, and it is not public. And while that is false, we're going to wait for 0.1 of a second. So every 10th of a second, it will check if the module is now solved, and if so, it will continue. So while it is not solved, it will be stuck in this while loop. Okay, so we want to make sure that we keep track of the modules that are solved. So I need to increment this, and this is lion's share. So the reason we do an increment here is because imagine you have multiple lion's share modules on the same BOM. Then Souvenir needs to be able to ask about the lion's share that you solved first and the lion's share that you solved second. So when this is called, it increments the counter, and then after this we will add the questions using this add questions method. And this add question method will then look back at this dictionary and see, aha, okay, so this is the second time that you've solved lion's share. So that's how that works. But before we can add the questions, we need to formulate the questions. So let's take a look at this file here. We have a huge, massive, freaking enum class declaration here. I actually wonder how many values we already have. I can actually find that out by just scrolling to the bottom and hovering over this, and it looks like it's 498, which means that one of the other Souvenir support contributions that we're going to look up later is going to be the one that added the 500th question. And the one that I'm adding now, despite being 499 in this file right now, in chronological order, it will be like 500 and something. So we will celebrate afterwards when we find it. So I need to find the alphabetical place to put lion's share in here. Again, it comes immediately after link, lion's share, and we're gonna have two questions. One asks for the year, and one asks for removed lions. So the year question is going to ask which year was this displayed on lion's share. Okay, we can do 3 columns because year numbers are very small. This one here I just noticed doesn't need to be an array. I'm just going to remove that. So I want the numbers from 1 to 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Every new line in here becomes that. And now we have a list of strings that we can just put here. Okay, we do not need any format arguments. We don't need anything special for this question. For the other question, similarly, we also don't need any format arguments. We're just going to say which lion was present but removed in lion's share. Lion's share. This time we're going to use 2 columns because some names may have, like for example, Mufasa. Okay, that's only 6 letters, but okay, what is actually, that's a good question. What is the longest name? Sarafina is 8 letters, but that's just curiosity. All right, so the list of lion names actually depends on the rule seed, right? I mean, oops, I don't mean to duplicate that. So right now, this is the list of lions, but if we look at a different rule seed, they have completely different names. So we're actually going to obtain, let's take a look at the module and see if it exposes the list of names. We have this here. I'm not sure whether this is the names that are on the module or the total list of all possible names under this rule seed. Well, it turns out it's the lions that are on the, because the rule seed code ends here. Right, this is where it outputs the information. I'm not even sure what this is, but this is debug code as evidenced by the angle brackets. LHC, I guess. Oh, that's the color of the lead hunters, which also changes from rule seed to rule seed. Okay, so coming back to the information that we want, let me find out how it actually decides the names of the lions. So this is the information for rule seed 1. Here are the visiting lion names, again for rule seed 1, it even says that here. And then for other rule seeds, we have these here. We have male names and female names. I wonder, okay, so if I search for male names, this is all names. Let's see where all names is used. Okay. So this array, right, okay, this will contain the 35 lion names that will be in the pride. And unfortunately, that is a local variable, so we can't access it. So we can't access it quite as easily as I hoped. Okay, so let's take another look at this lion names variable here, because I still don't know. I mean, here at the start, clearly it contains the names of the lions at the start of the module, but I don't know whether those actually get removed when a lion is removed by the diffuser. So let's take a look at this. This is still inside of start. I'm trying to find any place where this array is actually changed, but it seems that this is not the case. So if I'm not mistaken, we have this current portions array, which will keep track of the portions that each lion has. And my guess is that when that gets set to 0, the lion disappears, but remains listed in that array. And if that theory is true, yeah, there we go. It iterates through the line names and then checks whether the portion is 0, and if so, we just remove that slice from the pie, and in all other cases, we use that slice from the pie and give it the right size. Okay, so that means that lion names will contain all of the lion names that were on the module, including the ones that were removed. However, that is not sufficient, because we also need names that weren't on the module to begin with. Because if we use only the names that were actually on the module, then you can just look at the module to see which names are still present after you've solved it, and those will just be the wrong answers. So I need access to this all names thing, this one here, this all names thing. So I'm actually gonna go and modify lion's share. Well, pressed the wrong file there, but no, that is definitely not what I want. I want lionshare.sln. No, do not save anything here. So obviously, as the author of Lion's Share, I have the ability to do this. If you're implementing Souvenir support for a different module than the one that you've made, then of course you can't easily do this. You can submit a pull request to the author of the other module, which I would encourage you to try, right? Many modders are happy to add things for Souvenir support and stuff like that. So I'm going to add something here called all lion names, which will just be the names for this particular rule seed. And where is it? All names is now going to be called all lion names and not a local variable. So let's recompile this. Okay, that succeeded. So now instead of Souvenir, I'm going to open Lion's Share in Unity and upload this to the workshop. Although before I do that, I should probably test it quickly, just to make sure that I haven't egregiously broken the module. So I'm just going to run it in the test harness once. Let's run this. And we can see here from the logging that Taka, Vitani, and Zira are the only ones that are supposed to survive. So we're just going to remove Mufasa and Uru and Nala, apparently. So Zira, Vitani, and Tika. Zira gets 33. I need to zoom in a bit. I can't really see that number very well. So Zira gets 33, which is like this. And then Vitani is 15. And of course that changes 0. And Taka gets 52 because he's a greedy bastard. 52, and that leaves 33, and we can solve it. Okay, so that seems to work. The module is not broken. So I'm quickly going to recompile this and publish it. Now, while this is compiling, let's go back to Souvenir in our Souvenir. So what I need to do here in the Souvenir question attribute is I need to say that there are no fixed set of answers for this question. And I'm going to put example answers. And as example answers, I'm going to use, I cannot copy and paste these. That is a little bit annoying. But I guess I can copy and paste them from here because there is this list right here. So starting with Taka, ending with Serafina, we're just going to do this. And then add this, and suddenly we have a string array. Okay, this should be done building now. So I'm just gonna upload this with the comment minor change for Souvenir and publish that. And hopefully that will finish soon. In the meantime, we're going to say example answers include all of these. Okay, so I believe that is all we need for this one. So we go back here. Where were we? All right, this is listening. Up here is Lion's Share. So we want to add only 2 questions. One is for the year and one is for the lions that were removed. So we're going to add questions. The first parameter is the module, which is the parameter that is passed up here. And then we can just add the question. So I'm going to say make question for lion's share year. Module key is, of course, lion's share. Format arguments, we don't need any, so I'm just going to say correct answers. And you will see here there are 2 overloads. One takes sprites, which is where the answers display as images, and the other one takes strings, where it's just text, which is what you need most of the time. So the year is just going to be, I could actually just use the variable year text, which is already in string form. So I guess I'm going to use that. I don't need to specify any preferred wrong answers because that is already listed in the attribute. And then we're going to make another question. This time it's the lion's share removed lions. Okay, lion's share. Now here is a little thing. See, there are multiple possible correct answers, namely all of the ones that were removed. And in order to figure out which ones were removed, I need to know the names, in other words, this lion names, where was it? This one, as well as the current proportions, because I need to know which ones were 0. So let's figure those out. So the lion names are going to be get field. Now this field is of type string array. So we could write it like this. So this would say get a field of type string array. But we can also say get array field like this, and then this will give us an extra method, which I will show you in a second. First of all, we're getting it from the component, and the name is underscore lion names. Okay, so now we want to do .get to get the actual value from the field, in other words, the string array. And you see, ordinarily, this is the only overload you get, where you can pass in a function to validate, whether the value is what you expect. Like in the case of an array, you want to make sure that it has the length that you expect. Now, for array specifically, however, we have this one here where you can specify an expected length, or you can specify an expected minimum and maximum length. Now, in our case, I don't think we need to have a minimum and maximum length, just as long as the length is greater than 0. Let me actually see, okay, so lions. I want to see if there is any logic here that assures that there is only bingo. It makes sure that there are always at least 2 lions left at the end of the module, but it doesn't make sure that there is always a lion to remove, I don't think. So I guess so we always want it to be at least 2. So the minimum length that we expect is 2. Okay. So these are the lion names, and then we have the correct proportions, I think it was called. Correct. Well, actually, okay, after the module is solved, you expect current proportions and correct proportions to have the same values. So I'm gonna just go with this one. It really doesn't matter which one we need. This one is an int array, so I'm still gonna use get array field. And this time we know what the length is supposed to be. It is supposed to be the same as the length of lion names. Okay, now why is it complaining about this? There is no argument given to max length. Oh, interesting. So max length is not optional. Okay, I'm going to remedy that. I'm going to say that this can be... oh, wait. If I make this optional, then this and this will be confusable. So, what's the best way around that? Yeah, you know what? I'm still gonna do this because, So, the thing is, I very rarely just put get to, because in this case, the reader will not be able to see at a glance what this to actually means. I will generally put something like this to indicate that this is what the to is supposed to be. And for this reason, when I actually put the name of the parameter here, the two are no longer confusable because the other one is not called min length. It's called expected length. So I think I'm going to go with this. All right, now this one here obviously needs to have the same treatment. So we're gonna say this one here can be optional. And then let's see where that is actually used. Right. So if the collection count is too small, or max length is not null and the collection is too large. Okay. Expected. Okay. So, yeah, okay. So this message, this error message is written with the assumption that either min length and max length are the same, in which case you specified a specific length that you want, or they are different, in which case we put a hyphen there. But we have this third case now, where you specify a min length but no max length. So I'm going to say this. If the max length is null, then I'm gonna say at least, otherwise min length to string. And then that was for the number 3 here, so that will say at least. And then for the number 4, I'm just gonna put the min length. So here, if max length is equal to null, then we're gonna use min length to string. Otherwise, if that is different, then that. Okay. So that is the error message taken care of. Now let's see where else max length is used. And that is the last use, so we should be good. So let's go back to this. It seems that the build has failed, but I will look at those error messages after I'm done with this. Okay, so we expect correct proportion to have the same length. And now the names of the removed lions are going to be exactly the ones where the correct proportion was 0. So I'm going to go through each of these indexes. So for each index, not select, I want to find where at this index the correct proportion is equal to 0. And now I have a list of indexes, and I can now index into lion names to get those names. So this will give me an array of the lions whose correct proportion is 0, which are the ones that I expect to be removed. So the correct answers are these. Which I don't need to wrap in an array because it's already an array. The possible correct answers, possible wrong answers are the list that I just added. So if I refresh this page, no, I did not actually submit this to Git, did I? So I'm going to quickly do that. Let's open Lion's Share in Git. And nope, let's maximize that. Can I please maximize this window? It doesn't let me maximize this window. Okay, there we go. Okay, so in Lion's Share module, I changed this and I added this. Right, so let's do this. Make all lion names accessible to Souvenir. So let's commit and push that. I need to load my SSH key for this. Let's quickly do that. All of you who have keyloggers on my PC now know what my password is. Okay, now if I refresh this page, there you go. This is now on GitHub, and I can now see this field that I just added. So I'm going to get all lion names from an array field of type string with this name, and it is not public, right? But we expect the length of that. What do we expect the length of that to be? Oh, interesting. I made a mistake. Because this will actually contain literally all of the names that are candidates for adding to rule seed. So that's not actually what I want. What I want is the result of this. Lion names, which will be, 35 of them chosen at random. So I am going to go back to Lion's Share and quickly fix that mistake. This is what happens if I'm a bit too hasty. Okay, so right here, all lion names. I'm going to rename this back to all names, which is what it said before. And then here I'm going to say all lion names equals lion names dot to array. Okay, and I'm gonna say this is for Souvenir because the rest of this code is not actually going to use this variable. Only Souvenir is. Now, I'm currently thinking I could totally, I could actually just make this one the field. So let's remove this and let's see all lion names. I'm just temporarily going to change the name to this and then rename it back, because by doing that, it will now have changed all occurrences of it down here. And it has not, because this is still a local variable. Gosh, I'm really bad at this. Okay, so let's rename this one here to all lion names. That will have renamed everything. And now all lion names is a list rather than an array, which is something that I need to be aware of. So now, once again, let me quickly run this in the test harness to make sure that I didn't completely break the module in obvious ways. So this time, let's see. Mito, Nuka, Sarafina. That's those three. Taka and Zira. Taka and Zira. Okay, so Ahadi and Zama need to go away. So Zama goes away and Ahadi. And then we're gonna go Mitu is 18. That's just +1. Nuka is 12. As already on 12. Sarafina is 19. That needs +9. And this changes Taka, so I'm gonna change Taka last, which is convenient. No, it's not. I was gonna say because Taka is listed last, but it isn't. Anyway, Zira is 18, so I'm just gonna change that to 18. And then Taka is at 33, which is indeed correct. And we can solve the module. Okay, so that still works. So I'm going to submit this once again, both to the workshop and to GitHub. So here I'm going to say another minor change for Souvenir, because this is what we actually wanted. And then this one here, which is now finished building, we're going to say, what was the thing that I said first time? Like, what was the change message that I put in? Minor change for Souvenir. I guess I'm just gonna say minor change number 2 for Souvenir. There you go. Okay, so I guess we can get rid of this. This will hopefully upload quickly. There we go. That is done. So we'll just close Unity. I suppose I can open Souvenir again because we're gonna need to compile that at some point later. And we're gonna go back to the Souvenir code. All right, now that we're here, we don't want this to be an array field anymore. We want this to be a list field. Okay. And obviously we want to actually get the list, so we need to call .get. But then we also want to make sure that it has a minimum length of, it must be at least 2. Wait, hang on. Isn't it 35? We said that the length, the expected length is going to be 35. So I guess we're gonna go with that. Okay, and then here I can finally just say this. And unfortunately I need to turn that into an array finally, but that's okay. We can do that. Okay, so now I want to talk about something here, because there are two things to note here. The first one is that removed lions has potentially multiple correct answers in it. But Souvenir will correctly just pick one of them to be the correct answer and not show multiple correct answers. And the second thing to point out is that this here will also contain some of the correct answers. In fact, all of them, because it contains all of the possible lion names. This is fine, because Souvenir automatically filters those out. So you can always just pass in the complete list of possible answers into this parameter. Maybe I should actually rename this. Maybe instead of preferred wrong answers, it should just be called all answers. I don't know. But the reason I called it preferred wrong answers is because normally all possible answers are actually listed here on the custom attribute, but sometimes only a small subset of these are actually preferred to be wrong answers. A good example of this is if you have a module with multiple stages, like let's say, for example, silly slots. Right? Let's say you had silly slots and there are multiple stages in which you had a red cherry, but the one that you're actually asking about is a blue coin. Right? You might want to prefer red cherry to appear as a possible wrong answer rather than any random one. Maybe silly slots wasn't the best example, but just imagine a module that has just 3 stages and you could ask about, the information from stage 2, then a preferred wrong answer might be the equivalent answer for stage 1. Okay, so with that out of the way, we have finished this. So I'm going to, oh yeah, that's right. We have some compile errors. Okay, so here we have 0, 0. We actually did that on the last live stream, didn't we? So here I actually violated my, like literally what I said earlier, which is that I rarely put just the number. So I think I'm just gonna put that here, and that should make that red line disappear. It does. You will notice that the error is actually the call is ambiguous, which is exactly what I said. If you specify just one number, which in this case is the 3, then it doesn't know whether it needs to be the this overload, where that number would be the expected length, or this overload, where that number would be the minimum length. So once again, I'm just going to specify that I want that to mean expected length. I'm going to recompile, and the error is gone. So with that out of the way, I can now... Unity will also recompile this at some point. So now I can recompile Souvenir. And I should probably delete Lion's Share from my mods folder, because I did upload it to the workshop, and of course I am subscribed to it, so I don't want duplicate versions of that in my game. And now we're going to run KTANE, and we're going to test this for the first time. While KTANE is loading, let me take a quick look at what you guys had to say. Greetings. Oh, hello Goofy, I haven't seen you in a while. Welcome to the stream. Ultimate Tic-Tac-Toe already has Souvenir. Let's check that. Ultimate Tic... No, it does not. At least it's not listed here. So I guess it does not. Can I get the list on the spinny wheel so I can filter it out for you? Ah, you want to filter it out. Honestly, I don't think it's a big deal, but if you want me to, I guess I can send it to you. How do you want me to send it to you? I'm on the live stream, so if I show the DM, I'm not sure if you're happy with that. I can send it to you after the stream, I suppose. Why did you argument Lion's Share into the string instead of just writing Lion's Share in it? Oh, why did I interpolate? Right, okay, all of the questions do that. That is so Souvenir can add things like the Lion's Share you soft second. That is exactly correct. So here in the question, we always say which year was displayed on, and then the 0 will either become Lion's Share or the Lion's Share that you solved second. Okay, I think you could do it with just the names if you ask for first, second, lion removed. I see. Oh, okay. Fair point, but no, because then the diffuser and expert need to remember which order they removed them in. Yeah, actually, in adventure game, that is currently expected, that you remember the order in which you use the item. So I suppose that would have worked. But now I do look at the chat, but not while I'm in the middle of it. I'm sorry, Goofy. Might as well do it properly rather than come up with some half-assed question if you don't have to. I don't think it would be a half-assed question if you asked about the lion that you removed first. But I guess now that I've implemented it, I'm gonna stick with the implementation I have. Though isn't the distinction between first removed and second removed irrelevant for Lion's Share? Well, by the same argument, it's also irrelevant for adventure game, like I already mentioned. Minor change, final 3, real final. No, I don't think so. The distinction between the two is an important control. Like I said, adventure game already has that. Okay, so apparently I have Twitch Plays active, which I'm just very quickly going to unsubscribe from and run it again. Adventure game also does it, though I would argue that question should be changed then instead of adding more questions like it. Well, we can have the discussion on whether to change adventure game at some point, but right now, you know, I didn't add another question like it, so for the moment, let's just concentrate on Lion's Share. Souvenir, Lion's Share, run this. I am not hearing any game sound. Okay, so even with that, I'm still not hearing any of it. So let me quickly check if I've accidentally muted the game. Yep, I have. Okay, now I hear it. Okay. So let's open the LFA and look at the log for this. Okay. I wonder Okay, it says 6 lions here, but it lists more than 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ah, I see. It lists 7 and this one is 0. So Taka is the only one that we remove. There we go. And we want to set Ahadi to 26. We want to set Babu to 3. Sarabi is the one changing, so we need to change that one last. Nanda gets 3. That's this one here. Don't be so greedy there, Nanda. Sarabi gets 23. Oh, it's actually Nanda that changes. Okay, so we need to set... it doesn't matter. Uru is 26. We just change that. And then Zama is 19, and then Nanda should be correct. Okay, so this is Nanda 22. Oh, I see. Wait, hang on. Okay, I must have been wrong. Okay, so if I change Zama, which one changes? Aha, it's actually Sarabi that changes. So Nanda is supposed to be 3. And Sarabi is supposed to be 23. Okay, so this is correct. And we did not get a question. So let's take another look at the log file. And look at the filtered log, which will have some information here. Oh, interesting. It actually says that Lion's Share is not supported. Why is that? That is very strange. Oh, of course. Did I just not build it? No, I did, didn't I? Yeah, there it says here. Is there an error message anywhere? I mean, these are usually the kinds of things that I get. Ah, there is an error message. Failed build. I'm not sure why this is happening. Let me just rebuild this and see if the same error happens again. I have not seen this error anytime recently. This time it seems to have worked. So I guess we're just gonna run it again. That is OBS. I do not need OBS there. Okay, where was I in the chat? Here. Adventure game. Why would you keep track of them out of order? Would you add Mayhem to the list? That's an interesting borderline case. A lot of people are going to complain because you don't tell that to your expert. But then we have some things like the submit button for 00, which is on Souvenir. So I'm personally of the opinion that this would be a totally valid question and we can totally add it. But I guarantee that some people will be unhappy about it. I think adding questions on Souvenir that ask for stuff that you normally don't pay attention to can add a neat twist to the existing modules. Yes, that was my thought initially when I added things like the initial state of the red-green buttons on connection check or the congratulatory message on gamepad. Right, and back then, people kind of got used to it, but they didn't like it. Yeah, that's been removed. Also, finally, people would have to look at the manual for Souvenir. Well, they already have to look at the manual for Souvenir when they're unfamiliar with what is in it. Yes, exactly. Yeah, personally, I don't really get it either, but if the vast majority of people find it frustrating and unfun, then I want to make my module more fun. Yeah, Planadas, that doesn't really explain it. We know that we're talking about info that you normally don't need. That doesn't explain why it's bad to ask about it. There also was a dark time period where the Souvenir manual didn't list any questions. No. That didn't last very long, and that was only at the very start. It was very quick that people said, oh, no, it absolutely needs to list the questions. And I was easily persuaded by that. So it's the serial number if you don't have any modules that need it. So it's one of the first things the expert write down. Yeah, but we are talking about things that the experts don't write down. It would be interesting, but it would stray from Souvenir's philosophy. It would stray from Souvenir's current philosophy. It was its original philosophy, so the philosophy has changed. And yes, I have actually considered doing something like a cruel souvenir, but given the amount of work and effort and maintenance that Souvenir already requires, I don't think I'm up for it. Yeah. Okay, so like I said, with Mayhem, I think it's a borderline case, and I'm personally happy with it. We can add it and see how people react to it. Okay, so now let's do the testing here. I'm keeping you guys waiting. And is this muted again? You saw me unmute this. Why is it still muted? That is very strange. Okay, right, let's go back to the log file analyzer. And this will hopefully give us the correct answer. Apparently it's Uru this time that is supposed to get removed. And then Zuri is at 6. Zarafina was the one that changed, so let's try Sarabi, 33. Yep, it's still Zarafina that changes. 33. Then we have Nanda at 6. And we have Me Too at 20. Alright, Zarafina is now at 35, which is correct. Okay, there is an error. So let's open that log file again. Look at filtered log, Souvenir. Okay, at least this time we do process this. Field all line names is null. Ah, yes, it is. Because of the rule seed. Right? I had that code in a section of code that is only executed for other rule seeds but one. So I still need to fix that, and I need to submit yet another change to the workshop. So all lions, yeah, that is the rule seed one thing. So for Souvenir, we're gonna say this is all lions. Select the lion name to list for Souvenir. Okay, this time I don't think I need to test the module in a test harness. I'm pretty sure that this is not going to have any effect on anything. So I'm literally just going to build this and then just immediately run the game again. Hello Daniel, welcome to the stream. Oh, by the way, lots of S, thank you. Oh, by the way, remember the software I use for macros? Turns out it can do character expansion as well. Okay, it's I already knew that. I thought I told you that. I was not aware of AutoHotkey when I first made Unikey, but when I found out about AutoHotkey, you know, I wanted to stay with my own software, so I just kept Unikey. I think some modules that have questions that aren't normally required for a solve is fine. It's not like every module on Souvenir will suddenly have a bazillion question like what position was the module on the bomb, or what was the... Yeah, of course, you can always bring up even more ridiculous questions as an example of something that we shouldn't do. Okay. You figured out how. How what? I mean, I'm aware of AutoHotkey, and I know that it can do everything that Unikey can do. Oh shit, did I just build it? I think I built this. I'm just gonna run KTANE. Yeah, okay, good job. If you prefer AutoHotkey, then by all means, feel free to use that instead. Let's go back to here.
All available experts, please report to room A9.
And here. We have a log file. Okay, we want to kill Nala and Uru. Seems to be Taka that gets bigger. Taka is at 46. Alright, Zero should be 22. And yes, it is Taka that changes, so I need to change all the others. Serafina is at 16. And Sarabi is also at 16, and there we go, 46. That is correct. And we have another error. I seem to be making a lot of mistakes. So if you guys already know what I did wrong, please feel free to put your guesses in the chat. But I'm just gonna check it out here. Collection field all line names has length 18. I see. Ah. Yes, I know why. It's because it only contains the 18 lions in this part of the thing, and it's not including these. That is lions share. So oh, I'm already there. So I want all lions concatenate with visiting lions. Oh, these are just okay. Hang on, this is key value pair. Okay. Right, it turns into an array of key value pairs. Okay. So why did I choose to make that a key value pair? Okay, so we have these, and then we concatenate that with this. And for each key value pair, get the key, I think. Yeah, the key is the string. I see the Boolean is whether it's female or not, or male or not. I don't even know which one is true or false. Make sure that this compiles. Yep, it does. And then press build on this. And then test it yet again. So actually, I just noticed that I just ran it with lion's share in my build folder. So I think I'm going to unsubscribe from this, use the local version, and then when this actually works, then I'm going to make the last and final update to lion's share instead of updating it over and over again. Bazinga, another update, yeah. A Vietnamese website. Yeah, I mean, by all means, use AutoHotkey if you want, but you know, if you want Unikey, I'm happy to help you. I'm not sure what Vietnamese website you're talking about. If you're curious about the challenge poem I did. Oh, okay. Congratulations, but right now I'm doing Souvenir, so let's get on with this. Open the log file. Lion's share, so we need to kill Mufasa and Simba. Taka gets 52. Sarabi 33. And that leaves Nala with 15, that is correct. Which year was displayed? Well, that would be year 7. And we didn't get the lion's names question, but that's fine. We can look at the log file, and it will show us all of the questions that were generated. Which lion was present but removed in lion's share? And as you can see, Taka is one of the possible answers, which was actually on the module, but not removed. So I think I'm happy with that. Simba is the correct answer, the one that was actually removed. And I think we can leave it at that. Okay, so that's lion's share done. That finally works, which means that I can now, hang on, this is lion's share, so final fix for a souvenir. You know what, I think I'm going to actually squash these 3 into 1, because why not? So I'm just going to rebase the last 4 changes, and out of those last 4 changes, I want to merge those last 3. And let's just do that. And then we have just a single change, which I can just force push with lease, and suddenly all the other changes are gone, and this is just the one change that we need, which is the declaration of the field, the addition, like the data for when rule seed is 1, and then this for when the rule seed is something else. As I mentioned that, I should probably test rule seeds. So if I just do a different rule seed.
All available experts, please report
Okay,
to
we have
room
rule seed
A9.
47 and we have some interesting lion names. So let's make sure that that also works. Go back to the log file analyzer, open the log file, and see what the correct answer is. We need to kill Ingwe and Mashindi. Mashindi goes away. Ingwe. And then we have Kamaria is 40. Abanga is 18. And that leaves Kira with 42. Yep, that is correct. Which line was present but removed? Oh, perfect. The names are all there. Tabo was not on the module, but I'm willing to guess that if I go here, Tabo is probably somewhere in this list. There we go. That's where it is, Tabo. So this was correct. One of the ones that I removed was Mashindi. There we go. Okay, so that is working perfectly. So we can now go to Souvenir and submit that to our GitHub. I'm not sure why that change was made. I'm gonna revert that. Okay, this is... Okay, I made that tiny change there to the link function question. I added this functionality to make max length optional. And we added lion's share here. Yeah, we also added this expected length to other things. So let's stage all of this. Add lion's share. And yeah, commit and push. I'm okay with that. So I want to keep a list of modules that I need to add to the manual. Lion's share. Souvenir manual. Let's make that all caps. All right, let's exit the game. And now that we've finished our first edition, I promised that I was going to look at the Souvenir support that other people have added. So I will be with you in just a second. Be right back. And I have now returned, and as I was away, I realized that in my text file here, I actually wrote down the two that gave me pull requests or submissions. So I'm actually going to look at those two. So I'm gonna go with Eltrick first because they messaged me earlier. So Eltrick is already listed here. So I'm just gonna say fetch and prune, and then hopefully that will bingo. So here are the changes that Eltrick has added. And I'm going to, yeah, you know what? I'm going to rebase my own change on top of these. And that seems to have worked. So now we have Eltrick's changes here, and then lion's share is on top of that. Now, I shouldn't have pushed this, but that's okay. I can always just force push to get rid of it again. So let's look at these in order. We start with critters. There is a... Oh, okay, you actually incremented the version number. That is awesome. So I don't need to do that. Okay, so let's look at the questions part first. I'm actually going to look at it in Visual Studio so that I can more easily navigate the code. So we have critters alteration color. I'm going to change the spelling of this just to be consistent with the rest of Souvenir. Yellow, pink, blue, and white. Okay, I don't know anything about the module, so I'm only going to check if the code is if the code makes sense. Process critters. Let's see. Okay, that is perfectly good. So we wait for the module to be solved. We have a list of names. Apparently, yellow, pink, and blue are the only ones that can appear, so white was added just to balance out the visuals. Right, we want this field, which randomizer. What could randomizer be referring to? I see. It's literally just the color. So I guess I'm just going to call this color index. Okay, and we expect that value to be between 0 and 2. There is a good chance that I didn't add the min-max to other calls of the integer version, because for this one it's a little bit more obvious, but I think I should get into the habit of putting it everywhere. Because the thing is, in terms of how the code compiles, it actually makes no difference at all whether you specify those names or not. So I prefer to put them because it makes the code more readable rather than less, and it has no performance impact. Alright, the rest of this looks totally fine. We just ask one question where the correct answer is the color name, and the spellings match the spellings and capitalization here, so this looks perfectly good. Alright, so the next one that was added was Interpunct. So let's take a look at, I'm looking at the wrong one, Interpunct. Interpunct. What was the symbol displayed in stage 1, 2, or 3 of Interpunct? I think in other questions where it says stage and then a number, we always spelled the number as a digit, right? So if I search for stage something, like here, for example, in 7 LEDs, sorry, in 7 is the name, right? So what LED color was shown in stage 1, 2, 3? Let's find another example. Here we have one where the stages are listed as 0, 1, and 2. Here we have numbers. So I think I'm going to change this to numbers in Interpunct as well. So these should be 1, 2, and 3. And I'm guessing that these are the actual interpuncts. Okay, not all of these need to have the... Oh. So the one string that would have benefited from this, because, to avoid having to use the backslash, is the one that doesn't have it. So I'm going to remove those @ signs. Come on, replace. This is so annoying. I want to replace within the selection. Thank you. And it's not letting me go back to the text box. This is so bad. All right, that. And it didn't. Okay. I'm battling Visual Studio right now. I submitted this as a bug report. This started happening only in version 2022. Right, so it went back to condocument again. I'm clicking selection, I'm clicking here, and it changes it back. How am I supposed to change stuff in the selection only? You know what, if this is so unreliable, then I'm just gonna do it outside of Visual Studio. This is just unbelievable. Okay, so we want to change all of these. Well, actually, is there a string with an @ sign in it? No, there isn't. So I can literally just remove all of them like this. Make sure that there is no thing like this. Okay, there is for that one. And then this one here obviously needs a backslash as well. And then we just put that back in. Okay, now that is a little bit shorter. Okay. So let's go to the Interpunct Handler, which is here. Oh my gosh. Okay, Visual Studio is not cooperating right now. Okay, so Interpunct, let's see. We have the Interpunct script. We get the display symbol as a string, okay, and then we get an int field. Current stage equals 0, texts, has struck. I see, so when you get a strike, we check whether we have struck. And this loop will wait until we reach stage quote-unquote 3, which means we've passed stage 3, right? Because current stage starts at 0, which means that during stage 1, it will have the value 0. So therefore, during stage 3, it will have the value 2. And when it reaches the value 3, it will be done, it will be solved. Okay. Let's see, next stage. Okay, so this is, okay, so we can continuously ask the module, what stage are you currently in? And if that has changed, or we receive a strike, then we need to get the information from the module. This is absolutely, wait, hang on. Shouldn't this say next stage? It seems to be specifically assigning this, oh, wait a second. Yeah, no, this is, I'm not convinced that this works, because initially this is going to be an array with nulls in it, and then as soon as the next stage happens, Oh, I see. I see. Okay, so the field actually has the stage numbers going from 1 to 3 instead of 0 to 2. So this will actually assign the value to, like, okay, so when current stage is 0. But then it will update current stage to the value of next stage, which at this point would be 1. Yeah, so if you're in stage 1 and then you get a strike, it will then put the value into slot number 1 instead of slot number 0. So I'm afraid that this is buggy. I wonder if Eltrick is here. Eltrick is here. Wait, did I switch the line order of the two? Wait, no, that's because zero index. Right, okay. Yeah, I understand that you try to mitigate the 0 and 1 index, but unfortunately you have a bug because you set current stage to 1, and then if you strike, you're still in stage 1 and you'll be setting text of 1 instead of text of 0. So I'm going to change it to say this instead. Okay, so next stage, yeah, I'm just going to do this now. I'm just going to get into the habit of doing this. Stage numbers are 1 to 3 and not 0 to 2. And then that will also explain the -1 here. Okay, and then for each of the stages, we do this. Yeah, here I'm gonna do, you know what, I'm just gonna do I plus 1.2 string. And the correct answer is, of course, that. So I believe that I have fixed a bug. Yeah. Okay, so it's also important to note that it will set has struck back to false once you do get a strike, because, you know, obviously, if you don't do that, then this will constantly fire and it will just keep doing this over and over again. All right, so next one on the list is password destroyer. Yeah, okay, password destroyer. Let's go here. We're getting quite a lot of field values here. Not field values, just fields, references to the actual fields. And we wait for this to solve, and then we construct all these questions. So let's see what these questions are. What was the raw value? Not quite sure why that would be capitalized. So let's just see if the manual refers to it. No, it doesn't. So no reason for that to be capitalized. Increase factor, probably similarly. Yep, that is not capitalized in the manual either. Then we have the TFA1 value. Yeah, so that is... Okay, gotcha. I'm tempted to use this Unicode character with a 1 and the 2 going down like this. I hope that the font supports this. I'm going to try it. What about the 2? Okay, that one is written as a normal 2. It actually has a TM on it. You know what? I think I'm going to perpetuate that joke and add the TM as well. Okay. So here we have an example of a question where the answer is going to be numerical. So we use this answer generator. This was an idea pioneered by Andrea Celos. So we don't have to put a million possible answers here as a list of strings like we do here. We're going to do this, which will generate random integers as possible wrong answers. And it will not generate a million of them. It will only generate as many as are necessary for the question. All right, so what was the TFA2 value? TFA2. And then the solved percent. What's the percentage of solved modules used in the final calculation when you solve password destroy? Yep. That is totally fine. It's a value between 1% and 99%. So, wait, does that mean that can never be 0%? Like, you could totally have 0 solves, couldn't you? Well, apparently this code also expects it to be between 1 and 99. Let me just very quickly look at password destroyer. Yeah, let's go here. Password destroyer is going to have a a GitHub link. Assets. Does that have a .cs file? Yes. And the field we're looking at is solve percentage. So let's see where that is set. Math.round math.max. I see. So even if the percentage is actually 0, it will cap it at 1. Okay, perfect. Okay. So the module actually makes sure that it's never 0. I'm willing to bet that it's because you divide by it somewhere. But I can't be bothered to check this now. Okay, so this code also looks totally fine. And then finally, well, not finally, we have quite a few more here. Pixel Cipher. Let's take a look at Pixel Cipher. Oh, what is this? Infinite loop selected word. Oh, I see. We have 2 in there. Okay, let's start with Pixel Cipher. Okay, Pixel Cipher script module solved. Keywords. Var picked keyword equals get int field. So that is an index into this array, I assume. And then we pick that. Now, I wonder if it's possible to get this keyword list from the module itself. So I'm quickly going to, no, let's just go here. Pixel Cipher is what I'm looking for. Take a quick look at this. Assets.cs. And it turns out that we do have that array here. And happy heart house arrow, that is the same one. So I'm actually going to use this field to obtain the string array so that if the author ever decides to change that, we can, a Souvenir can deal with it and we don't need to update Souvenir just every time the module is changed. So this is a private string array, so it's not public. So we're just gonna get this. We expect this to have a minimum length of, well, actually we expect this to have an exact length, don't we? But it's fine if the author wants to change this. So you know what, I'm actually not even going to say we expect a length. I'm just going to say that the picked keyword must be between 0 and keywords.length minus 1. Whoops. Okay. And then that should be it. So Pixel Cipher looks good. Then we're going to look for infinite loop. Infinite loop here. Okay. That looks very simple. We just wait for it to be solved. We get the selected word, which apparently is a string field. Now, this is capitalized, and yet it's not marked as is public. So I'm just very, very quickly going to check if infinite loop has that. Oh, that's in there. Assets .cs. What was it called? It was called selected word. That is indeed a capitalized string that is not public. Okay. I don't think that needs a new line here, so I'm just gonna smush that together. Not that it matters. It's just alright, so we need support for factoring maze. So factoring maze happens to be a module that I'm familiar with. Let's take a quick look at how this is done. Chosen primes. Yep, we do expect that to have exactly 4 of them in it. Okay, why the for loop? This, you know, you can just... in fact, why do you even need this as strings? Because they're all correct answers, gotcha. Now what I'm just gonna do is I'm just gonna do this, select integer to string to array. This way we can write it in a single line. Okay. Let's see if you guys have anything to say about this. Yes, Quinn, that is actually a very good idea. Let's actually go to the yeah, there we go. Hello there, Quinn. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the live stream.
Hello.
Let me read the rest of this chat. Yes, that is reasonable, sensible. I totally forgot to, to join this voice chat so you guys can join. Of course, if anyone else wants to join, feel free to come over. Okay, yeah, that is cool. This term link, L-I-N-Q, is very often misused. This is not actually link. Link stands for language integrated query. And if I wanted to use language integrated query, I would say from prime in chosen primes, select prime.toString, right? So this would be link. This would be a language integrated query. This here is standard C#. It's just a method with a lambda expression. You know, there's nothing special about this one compared to any other extension method or lambda expression. Okay, so with that out of the way, we've done all of the Eltrick contributions. So I'm now going to run the game and test every single one of these in one big bomb and hope that that I can solve these modules reasonably quickly. So the first thing to do obviously is to recompile Souvenirs so that all of them are in. And then also make sure that I'm actually subscribed to all of the modules that we need. Let's start at the bottom. We need critters. Bang. We need Interpunct. Bang. We need password destroyer, which is this one. Then we need pixel cipher. This one. We need infinite loop. We need factoring maze. And that's it. And that is all of them. Okay, so I am not subscribed to this, and this, and this, and this. Wow, I wasn't subscribed to any, or even factoring maze, which I'm surprised by. I like factoring maze. I hope that I will like some of those others as well. They sound like interesting modules. All right, let's... Great, I opened the log file analyzer first. That was way out of order. Okay, I should probably delete... Yeah, you know, let me close down the game again, delete this, and go back to the Steam community, this one here, and resubscribe to that. And then once I've done that, I can now restart the game. And once again, I'm not hearing the music. Okay, now I'm hearing it. Last time it was not there. Let's see, so .select is from system link, and so system.link is a way to turn link expressions into code. It's actually the other way around. So the reason the namespace is called system.link is because these extension methods and lambda expressions are used to translate the link syntax into, you know, normal code, into IL. So when I, oops, okay. So where did my .select go? All right, let's say this, right? So if you do a normal .select, then this gets translated into just a normal call to the method enumerable.select. I can actually press F12 on this, and it will navigate to it. There you go. And this is the method that it will call, right? But if I were to rewrite this as, you know, from something in, whoops, let's do this, from something in, like in this case, it would be enumerable range 0 to select, and then blah, 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 let's say I. If I do something like this, then the compiler will, under the hood, translate this into enumerable.range blah blah .select II. Okay, so these two are equivalent, but this one here is the sort of more high-level one. The compiler will turn this into that and then continue. Alright, so this is why the namespace is called system.link. It's because these specific extension methods are used to enable this language feature. And if you want to use that language feature, the actual link, then you are totally free to do that. It is totally part of C# since version 3. And I will not judge you for it. Okay, so we want critters. We want Interpunct. We want password destroyer. PW destroyer is what it's called apparently. Pixel cipher. That's this one. Then we want infinite loop. And we want factoring maze. Let's run a quick bomb with this.
All available experts, please report to room A9.
Did you say something, Quinn?
Yeah, I recommend adding multiple souvenirs in case, like...
Sorry, could you speak a bit clearer, please?
Sorry?
I couldn't hear what you said. Can you speak a bit clearer, please?
I recommend you add multiple souvenirs in case some questions get asked.
Ah, okay, yeah, I will look at the log file to see all of the questions that were generated.
Okay.
But what I do want is I want to change the rule seed back to 1.
All available experts, please report to room
Okay.
A9.
What is this? I believe this is Pixel Cipher. I don't actually have the profile revealer. Oh, maybe I do. There you go. Pixel Cipher is the correct name. It's what am I doing? I wanted to look at the log file analyzer for this and hope that the answer, whoops, is right here. The correct buttons are, that's quite a bit of a, okay, let's do this. Put that here.
Souvenir is already solved.
Souvenir is already solved. Oh. Does that mean that, oh, okay, that is, thank you for pointing that out. You saw that here in the log, I see.
Eltrick noticed it.
Thank you. Thank you. Abandoning password destroyer because it's excluded in the mod settings. Okay, and all the other ones it says not supported. Did I forget to compile it again?
Do you not build?
Yeah, I did not. Wow. Am I really that tardy lately? Okay, so let's rebuild Souvenir. Okay. Why do I keep opening that? I wanted to open this. What the Souvenir is already solved? Yes, yeah. I did not build. Thank you, Eltrick, for pointing it out. Okay, let's run that again. Password destroyer has elements of being a boss module. It's on the ignore table. I guess I'm gonna have to turn off the Souvenir option that would ignore it. Whoops, I meant to go here, mod settings, and scroll the list. And we find Souvenir not in the list. Is it at the top? Did I put it at the top? Yes, it is at the top. There you go. Let's see. Ah, bingo. Yes. Okay. This is what I want. So let's run this again. And now with the bomb generated, let's upload the log file once more. And now we're still going to start with Pixel Cipher. And these are apparently the correct buttons. So let's do this and press 2785102 60 3735 3735 Hoggers. Alright, Souvenir is not already solved, so that's looking good. This is Interpunct. Interpunct says the correct button to press is this one, and I'm guessing there are multiple stages. I'm not guessing, I'm seeing this one. Okay, not telling me. Okay, this is, I don't know, is the author of Interpunct here? That is Danny and Pruz. Is either of you in the chat? If so, what apparently happened is that I pressed the button and then you start a coroutine, and only after some, you know, like a delay or something, like an animation, only then do you generate the next stage and, you know, show add the information to the log. I would recommend not to do that. I would recommend to always have the internal state of the module in the most up-to-date fashion, in the most up-to-date state. In this case, it might not make much of a difference, but you know, as soon as you start interfacing with other mods, such as Souvenir or tweaks or anything else, that's when it starts mattering. Okay, so that is apparently solved. Okay, what is this? That is infinite loop. That looks a bit like Morse, except that it just keeps going. There are no breaks between. It lets me choose literally any letter. Okay, so
Emergency cleared.
I don't know how this module works, but that looks interesting. Ah, whoa! Oh, I see. There is as soon as I start changing something, there is a timer. Okay. Unfortunately, this did not tell me what I need to put in. The selected word is regime. The Morse equivalent is that. The extended version is that. So do I just put regime? Let's see if that works. If I just put Romeo here, Echo, Golf, India, Mike, and Echo. Let's see if that does it. Okay, that seems to have worked. Now I strongly suspect that... Oh, it does show me the maze. I was gonna say, I strongly suspect that this won't show me the maze, but it does. So I am down here, which is here. And I want to go to row 2, column 2, which is here. So I'm gonna go upright. And then along this path, and then like here. What was the keyword in Pixel Cipher? That was acorn, wasn't it? What is this? Come on. Critters, that is critters. The color shown on the module is blue, which indicates that we'll be using the reverse rule set. The grid was IP number 1, the expected grid is. Okay, so I need to change it to be this. It's gonna take me a while, but let's give it my best shot. Then these are all off. That is on, and then we have 4 things here. 1, 1, 1 here, nothing there. That is on, and that is on. And then we have those. That's 4 of them, and then we have those and that. I believe that should be it. I'm gonna assume that this is the... Wait, hang on, which one of these is the submit button? Critters. It's not in my history. Critters, let's go here. Submit. Pressing the button on the right will submit your answer. Okay. Bingo. I'm assuming therefore that the one on the top might be a reset button, which I'm glad I didn't press. What was one of the prime numbers chosen in factoring maze? I didn't actually pay attention to that, but at least we can see that the numbers are gone, so you can't get that information back. Right, factoring maze. There we go. It's 3, 17, 19, 23, which means 19 is the only correct one. What was the selected word in infinite loop? Regime. What was the alteration color used in critters? Blue. What was the symbol displayed in stage 2? I only remember the ones that I pressed, not the ones that were displayed. So I'm gonna take a look at this. Stage 2, the symbol on the display is the backtick, which is the one that I pressed in the first stage. Oh, okay, it solved itself, despite there still being a module, namely Password Destroyer. This is not telling me what I need to put in. Bit annoying. It's still not telling me. Initial base numbers are that and that. We're starting 2-factor authentication. Okay, so that's probably this one here. This looks like it. Wait. Oh, it keeps switching back and forth between a time and a 6-digit value. Gotcha. Alright, so the log doesn't tell me what I need to put in. If I put in the code that it says there, it's unlikely that, yeah, that's not it.
According to Danny, I don't know how this is possible, I'm not familiar with the module, but apparently Password Destroyer's solution changes every second, and the goal is to predict what you'll submit.
Okay.
So,
right. Yeah, in
I
that
imagine
case, I can't test it without actually solving it, I guess. Can I...
Right.
Oh, apparently this lets me flip these. Okay, I mean, it's definitely an interesting idea for a module mechanic, that it literally changes every second and you have to like pre-calculate ahead of time and then submit at the right time. And if you miss the time, then, you know, like you have to give yourself enough time.
Right.
So, since you're here, Danny, would you be willing to expert for this? Or, you know, I mean, you can look at my stream to see the numbers and stuff, while, well, actually, I've already done all the other ones and they seem to have worked. So, yeah, so if you're willing to expert for this, then feel free to say so in the chat and I can add you to the voice channel. In the meantime, I'm going to look at the other contributions that I received from GhostSalt, and then we can test Password Destroyer alongside the modules that GhostSalt added. Alright, so let me now add the modules to this list here. So we need to put infinite loop in the manual. This is factoring maze. This was critters. Then we have, this is Pixel Cipher. And we have Interpunct, that's what it was called. Okay. Alright, so let's move on to GhostSalt's contribution then. And in order to do that, I'm going to... Interesting, GhostSalt is not in my list of remotes yet, so I'm just going to copy and paste this, create a new one, GhostSalt, put that name here, save changes. Yes, try that out. That seems to work. And then close this, and here are the contributions. First thing I'm gonna do... Oh, wait, hang on, there's changes. Of course, I did make some changes. So I guess I'm just gonna call this minor fixes, because most of this was really minor. Minor fixes. Commit... Well, not push yet, just commit this. And then I want to do a force with lease. Okay, and then I'm going to rebase GhostSalt's changes. Hang on. Oh yeah, no, this looks fine. Well, hang on, I thought 9-ball was... I'm a bit... Nope, that's not in there yet. Okay, so I guess that's good then. So we're gonna take GhostSalt's thing. I'm gonna check that out as a separate branch, and then I'm going to rebase that branch on top of my minor fixes thing. So let's do this. And we have a merge conflict. This sometimes happens, nothing to worry about too much. Just gonna click this. Oh, modconfig.asset. Why would there be a merge conflict in that? That is a bit unusual, but we will deal with it. Resources, modconfig.asset. It's because of the version number. Of course, we want to keep the new version number. And apparently you changed the output folder. Please do not do that. At least not in the changes that you submit as pull requests. Okay, so I can mark this as solved. And then the prefab. Why would the prefab? Alright, let's go here. No, souvenir module.prefab. Close that and then find the marker. Keypad sprites. Why would these have changed? Alright, let's find that. Oh, wow. You actually removed all of the sprites from the prefab. Yeah, unfortunately I cannot accept that. I'm sure that was a mistake. I'm sure that was an accident. So I'm just going to choose ours and continue the rebase. Okay, that should be it. And now I can actually look at the changes as they are after the rebase. So first of all, here we have, okay, that's a blank change. That probably doesn't matter. I'm gonna do this. Yeah, it's literally just a white space change. Ternary Tiles. Okay, you added a new font. That is cool. I guess we will see that in a second. And then here are all the new questions. Lots of stuff here. Ooh, why would you use system.random? I'm gonna have to take a look at that. And then of course we have these changes here. Apparently, I accepted the wrong one here. Test question, bruh, what are all these changes? I'm going to want to undo this. And then you also add these CSproj and SLN files. There is already an SLN file and it's not called Souvenir GitHub. So there's a lot of fixing to do here. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to revert the changes to modconfig.asset. No, actually that one's fine. I meant the changes to the prefab. This is what I meant. So I'm gonna go back here. I'm gonna go back to the master branch. Let's go to Souvenir assets. And it's, yeah, that's right. It's the prefab, isn't it? Prefab. So I'm just gonna open this file here. This is the version that I want. It has all of the sprites still in it. And then the other thing that I wanted to revert. Yeah, I want to delete these files here, Souvenir GitHub things. Okay, let's take a quick look at the other changes here. Yeah, they all look reasonably innocuous, so it's only the first change, this one here, which has that problem. All right, so let's go back to GhostSalt's branch. And then do not reload this file, but save it. So now we have a change here in the workspace, which undoes the changes, so it puts all the sprites back in. And then I want to go here and delete these extraneous solution and CSproj files. Okay, so whoops. So now we have this. I'm just gonna do this, and then I'm gonna use rebase 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 changes since, and this one needs to be merged with that. Okay. And there is a conflict. I did not expect that. Get rebase minus abort. Okay, so what did I do wrong? Isn't this the one? Yeah, this is the one. Why would any of the others give me a conflict? Oh, there is another change to the okay. You undid that here. Okay. How do I best deal with that? Right, the best way to deal with that. Yeah, I'm just gonna do this. Commands, rebase. I'm gonna do the same thing that I did, but using this GUI. So I'm still gonna. Oh, I didn't go back far enough, did I? Rebase 8, I think it was. There we go. So I'm still gonna do the same thing as before, and is gonna tell me to solve conflicts. And this one here, I'm just gonna say choose remote, I think it is. Continue rebase, and the rest should be fine. Apparently it's not fine, so solve some more conflicts. Choose, which one did I choose last time? Oh my gosh. So confused by this. Continue rebase. Okay, no more conflicts. All right, so let's take a look at this. The prefab is still being changed, but not in major ways. It's just spaces. And then this one here, yeah, it's still just spaces. I mean, it's annoying that these changes with the spaces are in there, but it's not that big a deal. I'm just gonna leave them in there now. Okay, so starting from the beginning, entry number 4. This is where it gets interesting again. Entry number 4. Interesting that number 1 is alphabetically after 4. Okay, entry number 4, let's see. So while that is the case, that is that, get int field. Okay, so what this is doing is it's taking the integer and formatting it to be exactly that many digits. So it will add leading zeros to match this length. Okay, so expected and coefficient. And then each of these are just correct answers, yeah. Now, if your format arguments are null, in other words, you don't have any, then you don't actually need that parameter at all. You can literally just leave it out. Okay, so I can just move on to entry number 1 straight away. We have this here. This looks very similar, but we have a subtraction here, but I guess that's part of the rules for the module. Again, this is not required. However, this here is missing that. Not that it's necessary, but it's nice to have so that you know what is what. Okay, let me just quickly take a look at these. Right, in future, please bunch them together when they're for the same module, and also indent this when it's that the same custom attribute. Okay, so we're gonna do all of this here because they're all the same module. And that looks good, right? I'm quickly looking through the phrasing for these questions, and this all looks fine. So I'm just gonna go over here. The next one is 9 ball. Okay, 9 ball. That would be here. Letters and numbers. I only remember numbers on the module. What was the letter of? Oh, I see. In the manual, I'm guessing they are referred. Yep, they're referred to A, B, C, D, F, G, 1 and 9. Okay, so that makes sense. So what was the letter of ball 2, 3? Right, that makes sense. Yes. And what was the number of ball delta, for example? This is perfectly cool. So let's take a look at the implementation for this. 9 ball is right here. I see. Yep, you repeatedly get the Boolean array and check whether all 9 of them are potted, and that's when the module is solved. That is perfectly good. We have an integer array here. It seems that you expect this to have the length 8. I'm not quite sure why this one here only goes up to 6, and then, oh wait, this is index of, right, you expect it to have the length 7. Right, so I'm gonna say get an array field of ints, and then say expected length is 7. Now, oh, I see, because the numbers are 1 to 7 instead of 0 to 6. Okay, yep, now it makes perfect sense. That's perfectly good. Next one is Ternary Tiles. Ternary Tiles is right here. It's reasonably simple. We're just getting a string. Yep. Okay. You do not need to specify null. That is already the default. Ternary Tiles is right here. What was on the indicator in Ternary Tiles? Here are some example answers. I guess I'm gonna just put that in a new line. And this type thing, I kind of want that at the front so that it is more visible, because it's honestly more important. Oh shit, I should have put that here, because it's honestly more important than the example answer, so I want it on the left. Interesting. So you seem to have figured out how this works. Andrio designed this. Okay, someone left the channel. Yeah, it looks like Quinn has left. Hello, Trixie Lit. What's going on here is that I'm adding support for more modules to Souvenir. If you're unfamiliar with Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes, then this will not make any sense to you. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the chat, and I'm sure that the other participants can help you, can answer your questions. All right, so I'm going to assume that this format string is probably correct because you've probably tested it. And I'm going to test it myself as well. Okay, so back to this. We don't need any format arguments. Wait, hang on. Hang on. You don't actually have answers, right? You haven't specified any answers here, which, by the way, means that you should probably put a null there. And you're also not putting in any preferred wrong answers, which means that this will not work. So at the moment, I'm finding it unlikely that you tested this, because this could not have worked. Maybe to prove that, I should remove the null, just so that you know that it's not my addition of the null that breaks it, but I assure you that it isn't. So Ternary Tiles is probably not going in. Then the next one is Xenocryst. Xenocryst is right here. Let's take a look at this one. We're getting an array field of ints. See, where is this used? This is the format arguments. We should really label that accordingly. This is the okay, gathering suggestions. You know what? I'm going to use the Visual Studio feature here because it can do this automatically. There you go. Format arguments, correct answers, and preferred wrong answer. Now this one specifies the preferred wrong answer, so this one will probably work. Now, I'm going to turn this into a variable because this is a bit hard to read, and also this will allocate a new array for every iteration of this loop. Not that this is a huge problem because it's a reasonably small array, but it's also not necessary. So, wait a second, these are just ordinal numbers. I have a function for that, ordinal of I plus 1. And then this is going to be color names. So I'm just going to turn that into a local variable. Introduce local, call it color names, and move that outside of the for loop. And, oh, these are the exact same ones. So I can actually reuse the same array. There you go. That's much more readable now. And we don't need these curlies either. Okay, no more questions apparently. So that was Xenocryst. The next one is stacked sequences. So let's take a look at this one. Right, we're waiting for it to get solved, and then we increment, and then we just get this list. So you can select Oh, wait. Oh, this is an array of lists. And for each list, we get the count. I see. That's interesting. Again, we don't need this because it's null. It's the default. Let's take a look at the question. Which of these is the length of a sequence, of a sequence or the sequence? Oh, I see. There are multiple sequences. And yep, okay. That's right. This is perfectly good, perfectly correct. 3, 4, 5, 6 are some example answers. We don't have these. Okay. The next one is maze identification. Let's go here. We're getting an int array called quadrants. We check whether it contains any values that are 4 or greater or negative, in which case quadrants out of range. That is good. Button functions. That is an array of integers, and we check whether any of those are out of range. This is perfectly good. And then we add all of these questions. So once again, not that this is a big issue or anything, but I'm just going to turn this into a local variable. These look like directions, so I think I'm gonna, not parameter, this one. Come on, Visual Studio, you can do it. Directions. Okay. The rest looks fine. Okay. And then we look at puzzle identification. Take a look at this. We have, I remember GhostSalt asking me about this. There is a separate type called data in the module's assembly, which contains the puzzle names as a static string array. And this is how we're getting it. So this is good because he probably copied this from the Souvenir handler for color braille, which has the same thing, because that's where I told him to find that. All right, grabs the first 2 puzzle numbers and their games of origin. Grabs the third puzzle number, grabs the third game of origin. Okay. Not quite sure why those would be in separate fields, but I guess that's how the module works. String games. All right, so I want to know if that array is in the module. So let's quickly look for puzzle identification. Here. No questions. Okay. .cs. So we're looking for this. Whoops. Yep, there is in fact an array called game names. So we're gonna get that. So var games equals get field string array. Yep, that's fine. Get that from comp, and it's called this, and it's not public. So we just get this and just make sure that it's not null. Okay. Yep, okay, I'm going to change this to game names because that's a little bit more descriptive. And that looks good. I'm also going to put that close parenthesis here at the end. And then we have not the screw. Okay, so we get the current position at the start before we solve the module, so presumably this will ask about the initial position, so I'm going to put that here in the name of the question. What was the initial position in not the screw? Perfectly good. These are all the possible positions. We don't need example answers if we have a list of answers, so I'm just going to remove that. And we also don't need this because we have the full list. And we also don't need this because we have the full list right here. So surely position is, yeah, it's just so I'm actually going to compute this. So we're going to have character A plus the position. So the letter is the column. So that would be modulo the width, which is 6. Right, and then we have the row, which would be position divided by 6 plus 1. Okay, and then we don't need this. Okay, and of course, you know, I will test this later just in case I made a mistake. We don't need an extra new line here. Mazeseeker one. This is a lot that Mazeseeker. There's a lot that GhostSalt added here. I'm actually very impressed with the amount of work here. So we have a grid, we have rows, columns, start row, all of these. So what are these used for? Presumably down here. I see. So yeah, this can do the same thing as what I did earlier. Right, the correct answers. Right, what is nums? Okay, nums is received from the module. But yeah, so instead of this here, so this is columns of I%6, so that is literally just the character A plus I%6, followed by I divide by 6 plus 1 dot toString. Okay, and I guess I'm gonna do the same thing here. So we're gonna have character A plus the start column plus start row plus 1 toString. Same thing here. Goal column is that plus goal row plus 1 toString. Reformat that and get rid of those 2 lines, which we don't need anymore. Okay. It's always better to generate data than to just have an array of things that are regular anyway. Alright, Cryptic Keypad would be next. Oh wait, I forgot to look at the question phrasing here. How many worlds surrounded? Where's the start and where's the goal? Yep, these are totally fine. Since we're using example answers, we're using an answer generator, yeah, so I'm gonna put null here. This one does have answers, so we do not put null there. Okay, so that was Mazeseeker. Did I look at not the screw here? Yes, I did. Okay. Cryptic Keypad. Let's see, labels and rotations. So we're looking at the label of each of those keys. Cardinal direction, okay, this looks good. Cryptic Keypad is right here. Perfectly straightforward. We just have this array here, which I guess I can turn into a local once again. I'm just going to call that directions and move it outside of the for loop. And then these, I guess, are going to be cardinal directions. Semicolon. Okay. So with that out of the way, the next one and last one is Game of Life Cruel, where we have some colors. Again, I'm just gonna be consistent with the rest of the code. Colors 1, colors 2. These don't need curlies. This is interesting. So we're going through, what is this doing? Answers.add. We have a list, so this will add a list of strings. And colors is of course, I see, these are all of the possible combinations of 2 of those colors, except that the second color can't be white, and the first color is not black, or it is black plus one of these, right? So we don't get black-white as a combination. Okay, this is a little bit convoluted, but I guess it makes sense. So we don't need to list all of the possible combinations. All right, then it goes to the 48 squares in the grid, of course. And if either one of the 2 colors is not black or white, then it's one of the special colored squares. So we make a question about it. Okay, you know, that is also a way of doing this. I'm gonna leave this because I think this is perfectly fine. This one, however, we can just do this. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm happy with this. Yeah. Well, Okay, so answers is a list of strings, and then here it is turned into an array over and over again. I think I would rather have only one array. So I think I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna say var answers equals, well, answers array equals answers.toArray, and then use the answers array here. And then I'm gonna call this answers list, and then call this answers. Let's see, this is a list, so it doesn't need the parentheses. No questions for Game of Life Cruel because there were no colored squares. This should never happen. Okay, but thank you for taking care of the of that special case regardless. That is very good. Okay, so that was the last one. So now we're going to test all of these. Now, Danny, are you still here? Oh yes, Danny has actually... Alright. Does not screw directly refer to those positions by coordinates? Ah, there's a good point. It does not. Ah, so that is actually a problem. Yeah, you're right, I need to change that. Not the screw stress an array 24 names, is that bad? I don't know. The sooner shouldn't expect you to know the coordinate system is the issue. The goal position is technically already displayed up. Oh, that's a good point. It's determined by the colors of the holes. Yes. So unless I'm misunderstanding the question, I don't think asking for a goal position is good. None of them reference battleship coordinate. Okay, Danny, I'm not sure if you... Wait. Right, I see. I misunderstood what you said. Okay, I understand now. So I need to change all three of them. So not quite obvious right now how I'm gonna all that SVG. Which one? This one here? Okay. Okay, so apparently I was looking at a local version of the, yeah, let's just delete all of this and look at the actual live site, not the screw. Yep, that one has the question mark. So that, what you saw, it was probably in a, yeah, this is in the Git repo, so it's probably out of date there. Okay, so coming back to this, so I need to consider how to do this. So the three that I need to take care of, the three that you listed, were not the screw, Game of Life Cruel, and Mazeseeker. So let's look at all three of them. So for Mazeseeker, you know, I suddenly because when I wrote this just a few minutes ago, it kind of felt unusual, and now I realize why. It's because in Souvenir, I've always been avoiding assuming the coordinate system. So if the manual itself doesn't refer to the coordinates in this way, oh, okay, that is unnecessary. Okay. So let's think about how to do this. How many walls surrounded cell X in Mazeseeker? Let me actually look at Mazeseeker. Not quite sure I know how this works. Okay. So presumably the expert has to construct a maze then. You must get from one location on the maze, the start, to another, the goal, while the module is in submission mode. Once on the goal, pressing the display again will solve the module. Walking into any walls or pressing the display, blah, 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 will cause a strike. Each tile has a digit associated with it. This digit represents the number of walls surrounding the tile. Right. The maze is 6 tiles long by 6 tiles tall and is surrounded by walls. Yes. In Discovery mode, the LED changes color depending on what tile you're on. The tile is not special if it causes the LED to remain off. Red denotes the start, green signifies the goal, and blue locates the top left cell of the maze. if the start is at the top left of the maze, it will be magenta. Okay, that makes sense. If the gold is at the top left, it will be cyan. Okay. While working out the layout of the maze, you may get stuck. In that case, you can radar a tile while in discovery mode. To radar a tile, move to the tile that you would like to radar, then press the LED. Some arrows may get brighter, denoting a wall in their directions. Okay, am I correct in assuming that the diffuser can use the radar on every cell, and you're really, I mean, you're only supposed to use, because, so I think the diffuser can use it on every cell, but doing so would be a waste of time, because most of the time you can deduce from the numbers alone. It's okay. Right. Okay. So now that I understand how this module works, let's think about how to fix the souvenir question. Because the fact that it used the coordinates, obviously, we need to fix that. Okay. Unfortunately, it's not quite obvious to me right now how I'm going to fix this. So I'm going to actually remove those 3 modules for now. And I'm going to consult with GhostSalt and possibly other people, and then make a decision. And then maybe on the next stream, you can see what my solution will be. But for now, I guess I'm going to... Okay, this is going to be a bit difficult because I do want to leave Cryptic Keypad in, and yeah, that's the only one, right? Cryptic Keypad. So okay. So here's what I'm going to do. So first of all, I'm going to move the master branch. Oh, I see. Yeah, of course. I have those changes that I made, these minor changes. Okay, so I'm just gonna call this minor fixes, I guess, because all of these are just small nitpicky things. Okay, and then I'm going to go back to the master branch, put all of this into the current branch. There we go. Okay, what's the best way to do this? I want to basically take this change apart, and as in split it into 2 separate changes. Unfortunately, my minor fixes probably apply to multiple. Do they apply to Cryptic Keypad? That's the question. Is any of this hard to tell, isn't it? Let's see if I can. Yes, unfortunately it does. Okay. So it's getting a bit hairy. So just to save some time here, I think I'm going to. Oh man, what's the easy way to do this? I guess the easy way to do this is to actually just merge these changes so that my quote-unquote minor changes become part of it, and then take the Cryptic Keypad out, which will include the minor fixes, if that makes sense. Oh, wait. No, I have an idea. Oh, yeah, I have an idea. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back to this branch. I'm going to undo everything up to here. Okay. So now Mazeseeker, Cryptic Keypad, Game of Life Cruel, and my minor fixes are in here. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to submit only the Mazeseeker and only the Cryptic Keypad changes. All right, so Cryptic Keypad is here, so I'm gonna stage that. Yep, that's all it needs. Cryptic Keypad is here. Cryptic Keypad is here, and Cryptic Keypad is here. So I hope that's it. Yeah, that looks like it's gonna be it. So this is just the Cryptic Keypad changes. So we commit those as Cryptic Keypad. Commit that, and then I'm gonna commit the other 2, which are Mazeseeker and Game of Life Cruel. You know what? I can submit the minor changes with no. I want to submit those separately. Right. Okay. So Game of Life Cruel, submit that, and Mazeseeker, submit that. and not the screw as well, I suppose. So I'm gonna deal with that in a sec. Game of Life Cruel and Mazeseeker stack, not stack, stage these. Show me where I am here. Okay. This is entry number 4 that wants to stay. These are all parts of my minor changes, right? Game of Life Cruel, stage that, and Mazeseeker, stage that. Okay. All the rest are just those minor changes that I made. Okay, so I staged Game of Life Cruel, and Mazeseeker. Commit that. All right. Now I need to submit only the quote-unquote minor changes for Game of Life Cruel and Mazeseeker. Which of course, they would be already in the, yeah, so that's nonsense. Yeah, okay. So all of these affect only the earlier modules. Right, so I'm just going to submit these as minor fixes, and hopefully it will allow me to move the order of these around. Okay, so I want to move not the screw to further up. So let's go here. No, let's not do that. Let's go here. Rebase. Okay, so we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4. No, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 changes. Okay, let's do an interactive rebase on the last 4 changes. And move the minor fixes up and not the screw up. Because now I need to untangle the minor fixes from not the screw. Okay, so I think this is the new order that I want them in. Perfect, that worked without conflicts. I'm happy about that. Okay, now I need to create a new branch first of all. Control B, I need to learn the shortcuts here. Let's call that. Move this branch to here. Reset current branch to here. Bang, yes. And then undo minor fixes and not the screw. So I'm gonna reset current branch to here, mixed. And now I need to commit only the changes for not the screw. Okay. So this is a not the screw question. And then here we have those things. And this thing. I believe that's it, isn't it? Yeah, everything else is the earlier modules. Okay. So these are not the screw. Commit that, and then commit the minor fixes. Okay, so now I need to put the Game of Life Cruel and Mazeseeker on top of this. So I'm going to use cherry pick for that, and just put that change up there. And I believe that at this point I don't need this branch anymore. So I'm just gonna delete that. If worst comes to worst, I'll just have to get the changes from GhostSalt's own repo, but I think I'm fine. So I want to move not the screw up 1 to after the minor fixes. So let's rebase, head 3, interactive, and put that here. There we go. Okay, finally. So I'm going to rename this branch to GhostSalt Unfinished. And then the master branch should go here. So I'm going to reset this branch to here hard. Yes, okay, finally. So I think I've done it. So what I've done here is I now have all of the changes for the modules that I do want to include, including my minor fixes, and then the ones that I don't want to include quite yet because they need fixes are above here, and they're on a separate branch which I can deal with another time. So let's submit this to the GitHub website. Let's recompile Souvenir. Actually, let me make sure that everything's good. Apparently Unity is reloading something. There we go. And now I'm going to recompile this. And then let's also make sure that I'm actually subscribed to all of the modules that we want to play with. We want to play with entry. Whoops. Can I please? Entry number 1 and number 4. Whoops, not the manual. Sometimes I'm... Okay, Xenocryst. You know what? I should use these shortcuts. There you go. Then we have stacked sequences. Then we have maze identification. Then we have puzzle identification. Cryptic keypad. And minor fixes, which we don't need yet. Okay, so let's make sure I'm subscribed to all of these. Okay, so apparently maze identification was the only one that I was already subscribed to. Let's close these other tabs again and run the game. There's a 90-second delay between each radar. Okay, so that will delay it even further. That makes sense then. I'm not sure if I like the question for this either. Having done the mod, there is a disproportionate amount of 2s in the grid. Ah, so you're saying the majority of the time the answer will just be 2. That makes sense for a maze, I suppose. Okay, so we want to play entry number... Oops. Okay, that one. Entry number 1. Xenocryst. The Xenocryst. Okay, what is the module ID for Xenocryst? It's GS Xenocryst. Yep, there it goes. Then we want stacked sequences. Then we want maze identification. GS, okay. And then puzzle identification, which is also GS. Cryptic keypad. All of these appear to be GhostSalt modules except for stacked sequences. Well, and not the screw, I guess, and Game of Life Cruel. I don't know about Mazeseeker. Alright, so I guess we're gonna run this and test all of these modules. Right, let's open the LFA. Whoops. Oh yeah, I suppose that works. Do that. Okay, so the first one we're looking at is entry number 1. Number 2 is that. Number 3, number 4, making the adequate coefficient and the expected values. I'm assuming that is the answer. So 2, 2, 6, 3, 9, 0, 0, 6. Detected correct submission. Okay, cool. This I'm assuming is entry number 4. So we want 3859. Can that go away? Thank you. 3859. 1524. 1524. It's also correct. Request accepted. Module disarmed. Very good. Maze identification. Now, I know how this module works. 4442. Oh, I see. Oh, that's right. I can just enter submission mode and just go 4442. Very good. This, ooh, puzzle identification doesn't log anything. Cryptic keypad, the correct order for uniform, Yankee Sierra Delta, okay. Is this puzzle identification? Yes. Let's load the log file again in case it logged something now. It did not. So I guess we cannot actually do that. Right, let's finish this. There's a stacked sequences. Okay. if I remember correctly, let me experiment with this. I think I need to press this, and now I'm in entry mode, and I need to go 001 011 001
personnel, please return to
011. Okay, and then we submit this one, which is 11, and then 1 2 3 4 5 zeros. Okay. It's possible that I misunderstand how this works. I'm not quite sure how... Oh, okay, I just pressed that again to submit. Gotcha. Okay. This is the Xenocryst. The colors which flashed are that, blah, 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 blah. After removing the final sequence is this. Okay. I'm not quite sure how to deal with this. So if I click this... Ah, okay. I'm guessing this is timer ticks. I wanna see if my guess is correct. Apparently not. Okay. So I need to I need to read the manual for Xenocryst. Let's see if the word submit is mentioned anywhere. It is down here. An opening bracket means to start holding, and a closing bracket to release. Disregard any brackets that indicate to hold while you're already supposed to be holding. Okay. Each period corresponds to one of the 10 colorful flashes. The black flash will automatically submit your input. If your sequence ends with a hold, the module will only submit upon releasing, which can be done freely and without penalty. Oof. Hang on. The black flash will submit your input, so I'm guessing that I need to wait for the black flash and then start my input after it. Is that... Okay, there was a black flash. But then... Right, look at this very the same. A sequence of brackets and periods. An opening bracket means to start holding and a closing bracket to release. Disregard any brackets that indicate to hold while you're already supposed to be holding. Ah, that makes sense. Each period corresponds to one of the 10 flashes. Okay. Gotcha. So I need to... This is gonna be a bit difficult. Okay, I saw the black there, but I'm gonna wait for it again. It's a bit annoying that this is now not synchronized with the timer anymore. There we go. Okay. Oh, I kind of missed it. Okay. I'll try this again. This is gonna be really hard. Let's see. Yeah, I messed up already. Yeah, I kind of don't want to have to do this. This is very difficult. I need someone who is good at this module and who knows how to solve this to test the Souvenir support. So I'm going to go through the community and find some volunteers for that. Until then, I guess I will put this on ice. What was the function of button 1 in maze identification? Let's see, maze identification. Button 1 is backwards. Very good. What was the second number shown in entry number 4? 1017, that one. Okay, now I need to solve this. Ah. Okay, well, fortunately, I can look at the questions that were generated. Let's see. I'm gonna find Souvenir. Take a look at this. So. Entry number 1. You know what? I'm just going to copy and paste everything here into here and then look at it here. So this is for entry number 1. So the second number is that. So that is correct. Number 3 is that. That is also correct. And then number 4 is that. What was the expected first entry? Right. Okay. What was the constant coefficient? Yep. Wait a second, that's not... Oh, I see. That's here. Yep, that is correct. Very good. Okay, so this one's done. Entry number 4. Just gonna put that here so I don't have to switch back and forth the whole time. This is indeed here. This is indeed here. That seems to work. That is here. And the expected value, expected fourth entry, I assume, is this. So we're done with that. Then we have maze identification. We already kind of tested that, but I guess, let's see. The buttons are backwards, clockwise, forwards, counter. Backwards, clockwise, forwards, counter. Okay, that's good. Was the seed of the maze. The seed, it says the solution. I'm gonna assume that seed means solution. Let's see if the manual refers to it as that. Yes, there we go. Identify the seed that you're in, press them in, and then enter the seed. Okay, so seed is what they call the solution. So that's totally good. Cryptic Keypad, finally. What was the label of the top left key? So DUYS, DUYS. And then which cardinal direction were the keys? Well, they were north, west, south, north, north, west, south, north. Very good. That is working perfectly. Stacked sequences. Right, so we had length 6 and 7, and indeed 7 does not appear as a wrong answer, so this is good. And for Xenocryst, ooh, I see. Okay, so in my third attempt, as you can see, I started one tick too late. I don't have the answer anymore. Actually, the answer is here, isn't it? Oh, it even says it here. Right, so I got these up to here. I got them correct, except for, one tick too late. But notice that here, in this part of the sequence, I have to press release in between two flashes, and I think that is exceptionally difficult without practice. So I think I'm going to hold off on that and get someone to test this who's good at it. All right, so with that out of the way, unfinished is these and Xenocryst. Okay, so I guess we're gonna add these to the manual, and also entry number 4, entry number 1, 9-ball. I don't remember 9-ball. Did we actually, did I just forget to test that? I guess I forgot to test that. And also Ternary Tiles. Right, okay, still to test 9-ball and Ternary Tiles. So I guess I'm gonna exit this bomb and test those two afterwards, but first let me finish this list. We have stacked sequences, maze identification, puzzle identification, cryptic keypad, and minor fixes, haha lol. Okay, let's test those two now. So we want a 9-ball. Okay, I'm probably not subscribed to it then. In which case I should probably exit the game. 9-ball and Ternary Tiles. Right, let's subscribe to this and this. Hit the big LED again to submit. Yeah, okay, I did that. Yeah, glad to watch something after coming home. Yeah, I agree. Okay, so let's try this one more time with those two modules. Ternary Tiles and 9-ball. Okay, 9-ball, there you go, and Ternary Tiles.
All available experts.
You don't need no stinking widgets. Alright, let's look at the log file for this. Okay, let's see, we won 3, 5, 6, 7. Right, let's actually take a screenshot of this so that I can compare that against the souvenir questions. Now we want to press 3, 5, 6, 7. Where's the 3 even? 3, 5, 6, 7. And then do we do them in increasing order, I think? Okay, that was correct. Then we have ternary tiles. The final values in reading order are 0, 2, 1, 2, 0, 2, 202, and 021. What was the letter of ball 6? Okay, now I can refer to my screenshot. These are A, B, C, D, E, so that would be B. Indeed, it is B. What was on the indicator in ternary tiles? I wonder. Okay, so this is, of course, trying to use a font, and it is not working correctly. So we have, in fact, found a bug, so it's good that I tested this. So let's take a quick look at ternary tiles. No, this is negativity. Ternary tiles, let's go here. Ternary tiles font. So why would that be broken? Let's take a look at this here. Oh, this is why the prefab changed. It's because he tried to add the font to the relevant, like here. Okay, there we go. This is null. Obviously, this must not be null. And here similarly. So this is the reason for the problem. Let's go to fonts, ternary tiles, this one. So the actual font goes here and the font texture goes here. And now I'm just gonna apply, save, recompile, and then test this once more. And I fully suspect that that will work, because we did see a question appear and it was just unreadable, but it did generate a question. All right, let's run that one more time. Hello, Bagels. You should have said something in the chat so that I notice you. Okay, let's try this. Oh, I included 9-ball again, but that's okay. It's easy to just solve this once more. Come on. 9-ball, 278. 278, 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9. And then here in ternary tiles. Now, I'm guessing that this thing down here is what the souvenir question is actually about. So I'm just going to take a quick screenshot of that. And the answer is 11222. Whoops. 0220. And then 200. Okay, so the letter of ball 5, which this time I forgot to take a screenshot of that, but it seems that that is B again, just like last time. What was on the bingo? Now the font is perfectly working fine, and it is of course this one. And we're done. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. So I'm going to hold off on submitting this to the Steam Workshop yet, because we have 3 modules to, we have 3 to fix and 1 to test. Right, we need to, exactly. We still need to test this one, and we need to find a way to express the coordinates or do it some different way. Okay, so these are now done, so these need to go into the manual, and I'm going to do that now. So we have this right here, and we have this right here. Okay, so all of, whoops, that's a lot. All of these, that's actually quite a lot of things, isn't it? Okay, phew. You know what, I'm going to make this easier for myself. I'm going to do this. And yeah, why don't I do this in Google Sheets? That might actually be a bit easier to do, so I don't need to fiddle so much with HTML, and I can use search and replace afterwards. So let's go to the lion's share question. Which year was displayed, and which lions were present but removed? Okay, infinite loop. What was the selected word? Factoring maze, what were the prime numbers? Yep. What were the prime numbers used? Critters. What was the alteration color? Pixel Cipher. What was the keyword? Nice and short. Forgot the question mark here. Interpunct. What was the symbol in each? What was the symbol displayed in each stage? In each stage. I'm gonna make this bigger. Okay, entry number 4. What were the numbers shown? What were the numbers shown? What was the expected 4th entry? And what was the constant coefficient? Now I can combine those into one question. I can say what were the numbers shown, the expected 4th entry, and the constant coefficient. There you go. I think I'm happy with that. Entry number 1 was very similar. What were the numbers shown? Interesting that 1st, 2nd, and 3rd are separate questions here, but here it uses format arguments, but I can't be bothered to change that now. I think it's fine. What was the expected 1st entry? What was the expected 1st entry? And the constant coefficient. Alright, then we have stacked sequences. This asks about what were the lengths of the sequences. What were the lengths of the sequences? Maze identification. What was the seed? And what function was each button? Or did each button have? What function did each button have? Right, and this is the same as, yeah, gotcha. Okay, then we have puzzle identification. What was the puzzle number? And there is a new line here that should be there, and also here. Okay, so that's gonna go into the minor fixes thing. Okay, so what was the puzzle number? What game did each puzzle come from? And what was the name of each puzzle? What was the name and number of each puzzle? And there you go. Right, Cryptic Keypad. What were the labels and cardinal and, well, directions, I guess? Yeah, cardinal directions, what the question says. Cardinal directions of each key. 9-ball. What were the numbers on each ball? I think that's fine because it's technically asking about the numbers that are displayed on the balls and it's using the letters to identify the balls, right? Even the other question could be argued to do that. So I'm gonna leave that. In base 10, what was the value submit? Oh, that's negativity. Ternary Tiles. There we go. This is what we want. What was on the indicator? Okay. So that's that. So we're gonna copy and paste that into here. I'm gonna make this slightly smaller and the window bigger. Okay. Paste that here. And then each tab should be /li in the selection. And then I'm gonna add this. No, I'm gonna add this to the start, like this. And then I'm gonna add this to the end of each line, so here, like that. And then I need to put this stuff, that I need to replace the first /li with this. So /li. Oops, I knew I was gonna mess up. Okay. So I believe that these are our new questions. So I'm just gonna remove those extra new lines, quickly take a look at what this looks like. This looks absolutely fine. Wow, look at this, we've added more than one entire column worth of new modules. Good job on everyone who contributed. Wait, why is there such a big gap here? Let me just quickly take a look at Bob Barks. Which buttons flashed in sequence? This must be a bug in Firefox, because honestly, there's no reason for it to be like that. Well, anyway, I was going to add it to open it in Chrome anyway, because I need to generate the PDF. And I'm going to put in this code, which will alphabetize it all and reflow it. Oh, look at this, we've run out of space on page 7. So I'm going to add an 8th page. So first of all, that page needs to be empty for now, like this. There's gonna say 8, and then all of these are gonna change to that, match case, and we expect 8 occurrences. Yep, we got 8 occurrences, very good. And now I'm going to refresh this, and there you go, we have 3 questions on the next page. This will hopefully change soon when those other modules these other modules that we still need to take care of get added as well. Okay, so now I'm going to copy this, copy outer HTML, replace all of this with it, and then turn this back on. So now if I refresh, it'll be like this directly. And here we go. We have our Souvenir manual. We're going to turn that into a PDF. Wow, we're already in the right folder. That is cool. And with that done, we can now end the stream. Unfortunately, I can't submit this. I can't give you the grand finale of updating Souvenir because we still have some work to do. But for now, I'm going to end the stream here. I've been streaming for 2 hours and a half. And I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that you learned, like any of you who want to implement Souvenir support for your modules or any other modules, I hope that I've shown you how to do it. And if you have any questions, feel free to DM me, and I will see you again another time. And thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.